to Shaffy myself.
So highly honored.
Oh, goodness.
Emino.
Let's do some high five.
Emino. Oh, Emino.
But you're so warm.
Oh, thank you, sis.
Do you get that hurt? You hear that all the time?
I get that all the time. That, oh my gosh, you're so warm, your spirit, your aura. Yeah, I guess you give what you have.
So you came in 2009.
Yes.
Wanting to get into the Yoruba acting, the Yoruba film industry. And you did.
Yes.
Through Said
Bello.
Okay.
Because I felt like coming into the English industry, it's been done. What am I going to bring into it? Yeah, I speak well. Yeah, I can carry the roles. But I felt that Yoruba industry was more challenging for me. Because I spoke Yoruba, yes, but I felt like that's where life was.
So you did a few movies. Because at the beginning, people identified you as a Yoruba film actress.
Yeah, they still do. I do both. I do both. So what I do now is
I swing both ways.
I sing both ways. But I do the English Nolly more, obviously. Mm-hmm. But then the Yoruba industry I pick, and I try to do maybe about 3 or 4 in a year and leave it at that. And that's because that aspect of the industry is very relevant. I love it. I come alive because I'm a Yoruba woman. So it's very easy for me to play a Yoruba role. I find it interesting though when people meet me and they still go, okay, so are you Yoruba or you grew up in Lagos? You're not Yoruba, but you speak Yoruba okay. Even when you speak, you still sound like you're not Yoruba. And I find that offensive.
Maybe because of the Igbo that you have now.
Oh, but I love our language. I'm a proud Yoruba woman.
Where were you born?
In Lagos State.
You're from Lagos State?
From Abeokuta. I'm an Egba girl. Ogun State. Ijayi. To be precise. My father raised us here, and as soon as you're done with your school, your secondary school, he ships you out.
What did your father do?
He was a businessman. He was first in the, he worked for the government. He worked as a 9-to-5 man for the government, but then he transitioned into doing business, and he was a businessman.
What about
more than an expert? My mom was a businesswoman as well. My mom was an uneducated woman. Absolutely. My mom wasn't educated. My father was the educated one. So he got, they were older. They were much older, and I guess she was gifted to him. Maybe, I don't know. But I couldn't place them together. My father was quite enlightened, not too enlightened, but quite enlightened enough that he wanted his girls and his kids to have sound education. And then he was married to a woman who wasn't educated, But then he had 2 other women. But
was he Muslim or a Christian?
Muslim. I was born a Muslim.
Oh, that's where the Shaffy is from.
Yes.
What's the full name for Shaffy?
Shafkat.
Shafkat. It's so unusual.
Shafkat. Yes.
Okay, but you're the 7th of 7.
7th of 7. And the last 4.
So did your mother have all 7 or?
All 7.
Oh, your mother had all 7?
She's blessed. She has 7. My father had 12, and I'm still the last of the 12.
So your mother was the darling wife then?
Of course, she was the first one. And before my father,
but she had most of the kids.
Yeah, she did. She did. And before my father died, one of the things I asked him, I got the opportunity of asking him questions before he died. And he said, "Daddy, what is the one thing you regret?" And he said, "Marrying more wives. I should have stayed with one woman. It's complicated." He said I made my life more complicated. And
but your mom was with him through it all.
Yeah, through it all.
She never left him.
Yeah, she never left him. That's unfortunate.
Oh, really?
She should have left.
So she stuck it out for you guys, I suppose.
Absolutely. She should have left him. She left him, yes. I mean, she stayed on her own, established her own business, but she never left him.
She kept his name.
Of course. At their age, they couldn't dare, So she stayed, but quite unfortunate.
Right. So what's your story?
My story is I grew up with 7 incredible women, sisters. Wow. And I'm the last of all these girls. I have brothers, but then I have women in my family that made the mistakes before me. So I used their lives as examples. And my older sister was she's like a mom to me now. I don't have a father anymore and I'm a mom. They both passed. So they're like, I have a brother that's 65, I believe now, and my sister is in her 60s as well. So they're like mom and dad to me, and I learned a lot from them. My siblings have always been, they taught us that we're all we've got.
So there's something to be said for the kind of home you grew up in.
Absolutely.
If the father had women, children, but everybody still, so what's the dynamics of your home growing up? And how have you taken that into your life today?
Interestingly, I didn't grow up with, I wouldn't say I grew up with my father and mother. I grew up in boarding school, and then my sisters, and then I stayed with my sisters.
Because they were already old. Last born.
So each one of them sort of took me on and raised me. So I grew up in learning life from them as a young kid. And I traveled to the States at the age of 18. And I would always say to people that Oprah Winfrey is one of the people that molded me into who I am today. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How so?
Watching that show every day, that's a lifestyle show. And that show molded me. What she said, how she lived her life, the guests she had on, I never missed it. All those stories, I followed it, I lived it.
It groomed you.
It groomed me. And then growing up in church, all of that molded me to who I am. And of course, my parents played a great role in, especially my mom. She always said to all of us, you're all each other's God. You're all you've got. So you lose each other, you lose it all. So that stuck. So, and then we all grew up together, and that's how I raised my children.
Do you think your mother knew you were going to end up this way?
No. I don't think anybody knew I was gonna do this.
So what kind of child were you? They were one of those goody two shoes little girls.
Yeah, I was just
Were you a rascal?
I was never a rascal. If I were, I think I grew up. Now older, now a rascal. But younger, I wasn't actually. I was a good girl. I was a good girl. I was sheltered.
Everyone was looking after you.
Yes, I was sheltered. I even lived in the States for 20 summer years, almost 30 years, and I was still sheltered. I believe so. Even in the States, I was sheltered.
First by your siblings?
First by siblings, by my parents. Even in the States, I felt like I was sheltered until I came back and I turned 40. Living in Nigeria opened my eyes that there's more to life, honey, than going to church, going to work, come home, raise a family. There's more. There's a lot more that I learned just coming back to Nigeria.
Why did you come back to Nigeria, really?
I wanted to fly, sis. I felt like my wings were clipped.
By
being...
Then you were a wife and a mother.
Wife and a mother, and I felt like that was what I ought to be doing. And I did it well, if I do say so myself. I did it well. I gave it all up. I worked hard. I raised my kids, and I left work where I could do, I did events planning at a point. I was into real estate, and then I left that and I started doing events planning because it allowed me to raise my children so I could be home with them. I sat down, I was one of those mothers who sat down, did homework, cooked dinner, come to dinner, eat, okay, go to bed, and clothes were laid out, change into your pajamas. I raised a proper family, but I knew within me I needed more. I wanted more. I didn't want to have children. I only had children because it was our culture, and you're a woman, you should have children. When I watched the Oprah Winfrey show and she said she didn't have a problem with not having children,
You connected?
I connected to that. I knew what that meant, but at the same time, I didn't regret having them.
I see that.
Yeah.
They're your like PA and whatever.
They give me life. And then when I had my daughter, that was it for me. I had one child, and I felt like oh my God, I'm so full. I felt full. It took her father then going to my sister to beg her and say, help me talk to her. She needs to have one more. So, and then I said, okay, fine. If I have this one, you better pray to God. Pray to boy, because if we don't, that's it. And then, God blessed me with another one. And I don't regret. They're a blessing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When did you realize that they're just no more than kids and more than children to you?
I used to think they were mini-me's at a point when they were kids. And then it turned out they were greater me's. And then one day I realized these children are about to be greater than what I thought. Mm-hmm. When I started seeing some things that I saw in myself, by the time I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I knew there was some greatness. I didn't know what to do about it. I just knew it. I knew I was carrying something. I had always told people, I'm pregnant. I knew I was pregnant with greatness, but I didn't know. Even pastors will come, prophets, pastors, people who were spiritually inclined will look at me, and the one thing they would always say, my gosh, there's greatness in you. You were going to be big.
For you, what does greatness mean?
I thought my greatness was standing on stage and singing and people coming to me to say, oh gosh, you blessed me. You are such a blessing. And I thought that was it. I didn't know there was more to come. I didn't know this was waiting for me. So I had to, years before I came back to Nigeria, I remember my pastor sitting with my husband then, and telling him, you need to let her go to Nigeria. Yeah, this woman needs to go. This woman needs to go. Even when I was singing gospel and I had an album.
Really?
I went to Europe. Oh yeah. I had an album. I traveled all over the United States. I taught all over Europe, singing in churches. Pastors would see me and go, I want that woman in my church. And I would go and I would sing. And I thought that was it. But that wasn't it. And my pastor sat down one day and he said, you need to let her go. She needs to.
Now, was that an issue for you in the family? Having to decide, I need to pursue this greatness.
Yeah.
Means, and I want to go back home to do it.
Yeah.
Did it cause any kind of strain?
Absolutely.
How difficult was it for you?
Oh, it was tough. He didn't want to release me.
The he means the father of your children, your husband.
Absolutely.
Who is now ex, by the way.
Who is now my ex-husband. But he, and I get it. He loves me. He loves who I am.
He wanted you for just himself.
He wanted me for, yeah, I get that though. When you find a good thing, you don't want to let it go. Who does? Who does? So yeah, but he was a good man.
So what happened?
Life happened. I flew. My wings became too large. Yeah. I had to fly. And he didn't want me to leave then. But sooner or later, I stayed in the place of prayer. I stayed worshiping God. I stayed obedient. One day, he said, it's time to go. He bought my ticket. I didn't come here as a disobedient wife. He bought my ticket. And my pastor was like, yeah, it's time to do this. He bought my ticket and he said, go see. My kids were younger. My daughter was 13? And my son was 12, 11, going on 12, just about, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I tried it, came here for I did a year. Yeah. I did
a tough woman.
Tough woman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, tough.
But I picked it up. Yeah. I believe so. I can finally say, yeah, I am a tough cookie. I'll try anything. I'll try it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, so what? I tried.
So after the first year, what happened?
After the first year, it was rough. Because
you came to a space where there were already established people.
Right.
What was it like stepping in here and trying to get roles and getting into stuff?
It wasn't easy, but God uses people. He doesn't come down. He uses people. So I was sitting in a bank one day. Shaffy Bello walks in. We knew each other. And I reached out to him and said, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Shaffy, what are you doing here? You're here in Nigeria, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. My office is across the street. Come on, let's go. And we went. And I said, I just wanted to come, try myself, try this acting thing. You want to act? Oh my gosh, and I just completed this film. I said, well, maybe next time. He said, no. How am I going to get you in this film? He had finished shooting. That's how you know. That's how I know. He had finished, and he said, I'm going to write you in that film. He rewrote the story, put me in it, and started reshooting. He didn't reshoot the whole thing, but he shot again and added that. And in adding it, everybody who saw it was like, oh my God. And everyone who saw the movie was like, who's that woman? Who's that woman? Who's that woman? They knew my face, obviously, from Love Me
Every day.
Yes. So isn't that woman? Isn't that woman? And then that happened. And one day I was sitting in my girlfriend's house, Jumabi, R&D's wife, and we're friends. And we were sitting in her bedroom, herself, myself, and Iritido. And I had started acting. I had started getting small roles here and there. And I said to her, I would love to do this thing more. And she said, funny enough, they're looking for a role on Tinsel. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to give them your name. You have to go earn it. You have to go audition. And I said, that's all I want. I don't want you to open the door for me. Just give them a name and let me earn it. And I went, and Roger Ofime, he interviewed me, closed his eyes, and I became Joanne. And Joanne was also the beginning, Tinsel. And those were the things that opened up for me. And then fast forward later, Battleground happened. And
that was like that role was created for you.
Absolutely. I loved Adora. I became Adora. I felt Adora's pain. Yeah.
And everyone could have mistaken you for an evil lady. For some reason, because you're light skinned and then all of that. So you enjoyed playing Adora.
I enjoyed her.
What was your best scene in that? Should I tell you my best?
Yeah.
The tears. That one that you broke down and I said, where did this girl get this from?
When Adora lost Mayowa, it was a process. The pain. But then as of that time, Mayowa had left the set. He had finished his own. And we had said our goodbyes and he had left. But I had to connect. Because for me as an actor, I don't act. When they say action and you act, you failed as an actor. You become. So I become. Usually when I take on a role, I become that role. I want to feel what you're feeling, be who you are. If you feel hurt, I want to feel it. I want to know. So I talk to my director. Who is she? What's her past experience? Where did she go to school? Does she have a mother? Does she have siblings? Let's create it. So I become. Yes, and Adora, she's a triumphant woman, and so I become.
I remember the first time I saw you though, apart from Love Me JJ,
yes.
Desperate Housewives.
Desperate Housewives.
I said, who's this Uyinbo that came? What was it? I can't remember the name of the character. But it came in a Uyinbo, she said, and in my head, I always thought maybe she came from London.
Right. Everybody thinks.
Yeah, because that was the first time I guess people was like from London. Now you're telling me you were actually based in Maryland.
In Maryland, in the US.
So that's why you grew up all your growth.
Oh.
But tell me about Love Me JJ video though.
Yeah.
As I was watching with your kids earlier and said, this was not church. That was they gave me the whole story.
Yeah. Love Me JJ video. I had just had my daughter. yes. And behind the scenes, I was breastfeeding. I had just had my daughter, and it was still fresh. And funny enough, that song came about. Shay had the idea. Shay Shodimo had the idea for the song, and
he's your cousin.
He's my cousin, and he called me in and said, "Shaffy, come, let's do the song."
And you were already doing gospel at that time.
Yes, I was already in church. I was a church girl, so I went in the studio and we started playing around, and like that. There was a song that in that song you will hear. I wasn't saying anything. It was one of the phrases backwards, and we loved it. And when we did the song, we had no idea. But I tell you now, I'm confident enough to know that I think there is a grace of God upon me that everything that I touch, that I'm involved in, is not mediocre. You may plan it to be mediocre, but it ends up being greatness. I can say that comfortably now. I didn't used to feel comfortable in saying it.
Why?
Because I felt people would think, who does she think she is? Now I know who I am.
Is that what turning 50 has done to you?
Absolutely. Yeah, I can speak my truth now. And confidently. And with my head held high. Yeah, I can say that everything that I touch, when you put Shaffy Bello's name on it, it's bankable, it's reliable, and it has class, and it has the grace of God upon it. Confidently.
So Shaffy, the Muslim girl, becomes this church girl.
Shaffy became a Christian at the age of 12, 13. Christ found her so early.
Where?
He found her in church, in school.
What school was it?
Victory High School. Yeah.
Here in Lagos.
Here in Lagos. In Ikeja. He found her in school. He found her with her friends and surrounded her with Christian friends, with some Muslim friends. But he made an impact with the Christian ones. And for some reason, Christ connected for me. Because I went to Ilekeo. Absolutely. I was an allergist child. A rich allergist child, but I was an allergist child. I learned all the Alif, Ba, Ta, Sha. I prayed, I fasted as a young kid. But then when I met Christ, he was relatable. I found myself in him easier. He was easier. I mean, it's not easy to be a Christian, but he was easier. I could connect with him. And I can connect with Christ in people. You can just see it.
You can feel it. You can smell it. The aroma.
Yes.
So you're in the right place. You're always at the right place at the right time. Maybe the detour was just to have the 2 kids that
Absolutely.
you have.
Absolutely. And the thing is, yes, there were so many holes that I fell into, but they were to teach me lessons. Absolutely. Yeah.
Share some of those holes with us.
I met some incredibly horrible people in the industry.
Locally or internationally?
Locally, who treated people badly.
And still do?
And still do. Some producers are not good people. Yeah, but for me, always being on set, I think crew members, I connect to crew members, I connect with actors, but I connect more with crew members because I feel their pain. People use people in this country, and we use the fact that people don't have, not everybody has a great background. Not everybody has a chief, a madam, a police officer, somebody, a good background. People are from the lowest of the lowest, but it doesn't make them less human. So when I'm on set, I fight for crew. And when I come on set and you say, oh, actors should go have lunch. No, we stop shooting if everybody don't have lunch. Yeah, if they all don't have food, we don't eat. So we don't shoot. So if the crew don't eat, I don't shoot.
Activist.
Yeah. So I don't shoot. The right thing is the right thing. Let's do the right thing. So when I get on set and I meet some good people who treat people well, yeah, I connect with them.
It gives you joy.
It gives me joy, yeah.
So you're a maverick. Okay, tell me what happened with the divorce.
So I am a wifey at heart. I'm just I like connecting with one man, and we stayed that way. But then my coming here didn't make it easy. It didn't make it easy for him. It didn't make it easy for me. It didn't make it easy for my family, especially my children. So I tried for so many years after being here, 3 years, 4 years, still connecting on the phone, still making sure, still going back, coming back, going and coming. It was a struggle. And then at some point I realized if I didn't stay, I missed out on a lot of things. So I get a lot of, oh Shaffy, so you're here. I thought you had come back. I thought you had left. I thought you had, and if you're not on ground in Nigeria, you might miss out on a lot.
Are you saying you gave up family to pursue your dreams? Or family as it is?
Yeah, family as it is. Family as it is. I struggled for a long time to think, oh my gosh, what would people say if they found out that I was no longer married? It took me time. It took my children releasing me. Yeah, absolutely. They had to say, Mommy, it's okay. It's time. It's time. It's time. it's okay. You've done it. You're in your element, and you're not gonna. Just like a lot of women, I knew my wings were larger than his. I was afraid to, I don't know what the word.
To fly.
I was afraid to actually make them as big as they are. Because I felt I needed to fly lower. And sooner or later I realized it's time to fly, baby. And so I didn't want to forfeit my marriage, but the distance doesn't help. The distance doesn't help. And then I'm in a different place. I'm in a different...
What industry is he in?
He actually is into shipping and handling, and he also has he's a car salesperson. He has a car lot. He did good business. He's a good man. A good man. A good man. A good man to lose. But it's not enough anymore.
Did you try to fight for it, or did he try?
Absolutely. We both did. We both did. We're not in a place where, he's actually not in a place where it's accepted. He hasn't accepted it. Yeah. But he had to accept it, knowing fully well that, okay, we're still friends. We talk. We have children together. We'll always be friends. He's a kind man. He was very good to me.
So why did you need to have a divorce? You could have just been together.
True. But we got the divorce years ago.
Oh.
I've been divorced for a long time. But we left it at that because it was just convenient. We were together, but we got the divorce, especially because of paper-wise, for him as well. He's a British citizen. We did that for political reasons, if you may. But we did it, and then, so because it was a political reason, meaning official reason, we did it for reasons best known to us. But then it evolved into that, and the distance just didn't work out. We did it for so long. Phone call. This is where I'm at.
So why are you sharing this now?
That. I've moved on. I'm a single woman now, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds.
Does that mean you're available for love?
For more. I've moved on, and I'm where I am so happy where I am now. And why be ashamed to share your joy? Yeah.
Why did you worry that you'd be judged? What does that say about the kind of society that we're living in?
Because as an actor, it would be, there we go again. Another one bites the dust. Another one is divorced. Another one leaves a husband. They can never be married, all these actors. Oh yes, we can. And some of them are. Auntie Joke Silva is still married. There's so many married actors who haven't failed at it. I didn't fail at it. I didn't fail at marriage. No, I didn't fail at marriage. I don't see it as failing. I didn't fail. I did it well. I did it very well. I think mine evolved into me being who I am today. Yeah, I wanted more. I became more confident about it to be able to speak more about it, because one day my daughter looked at me and said, "Mommy, I want to be just like you. You did so well. You've done so well for yourself." And that, come on.
But it doesn't say you don't support marriage.
Oh my gosh, I'm all for marriage. I'm for marriage. I'm a wifey. I'm not a girlfriend. I'm not a mistress. I'm a wifey. I would love to do this again with the right person.
So are you happy with the progress you've made so far here? And when did it occur to you that, man, I'm it? This is it. I know there's more.
Yeah, I'm where I feel, okay, Shaffy, good girl. You're good. But I'm never where, no, I don't know. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I feel like there's more. I feel like I've cheated myself a lot that I can still do. I feel like I can do more. I can do a whole lot more.
So what does 50 mean to you?
Confidence. Being able to say no. Being grounded. Knowing what I want and what I don't want. And being able to say so.
With no apologies.
With no apologies.
To be the girl or the whatever.
Yes.
So you're super happy.
Super happy. I'm comfortable. And no apologies. I don't regret anything that I have done so far. It's brought me here. And the journey has been great. So, and then being 50, I am able to see the women who has come before me and feel that good, Shaffy, good. You know why? Most of you that's done it before me, I've met you, the ones that I have seen when I was growing up, when I was in my 30s, looking at you guys, and now looking at me, seeing me and going, "Ah, Shaffy, we're so proud of you. That gives me joy. Knowing that I'm about to step into where you guys have stepped into. And I feel that you guys are comfortable and confident enough to say, yeah, let us take our seats."
So what would you tell your, and then go back to 25. When you had your daughter,
I was 26.
You were 26 when you had your daughter. What would you tell yourself at 26?
Be patient. You think you know it now. Oh my goodness, you don't know.
Is that what you're telling Ashley? Ashley is 23.
Yes. And I'm telling Ashley, be patient with yourself. It's tougher for my daughter because she has a mother who everybody looks and says, "Oh my God, your mom, your mom, your mom." So it's tough for her to have times where she doesn't feel up to par. And I tell her all the time, "Oh my darling, if I had it together like you when I was your age, I would have been happy, but I didn't have it together." There are some 40-year-olds still trying to find themselves. So at 26, I tell her, and she's only 24, she's going to be 24. I tell her, be patient, darling. It's gonna happen. Be patient with yourself.
So I guess that's a message for all young women.
To the younger ones, I would say, "Oh my darling, you're doing the best that you know how. Mom didn't know everything. Mom used you to learn. Mom didn't have a book. She didn't have a manual. Mom made mistakes. She taught you what she knew. She gave you what she had. So all you have now is you've done better than mom at your age. Be patient with yourself. It's gonna get so much better."
Did you worry about how church would see your divorce, for example? Church.
No. At the end of the day, it's not church that will judge me. It's Christ. And if I'm okay with it, if I feel the peace, I have to live with that. It's not up to anybody to judge me. You can judge all you want.
The industry in Nigeria, you came in, did you find it difficult to fit in?
No. I was lucky, one of the lucky ones, because of the music Love Me Jeje that I have done.
You were recognized.
I was recognized already. But even for those who didn't recognize me, I came into the industry when Nollywood was ready for excellence. They were ready for quality and not quantity. They were doing a lot of quantity, shedding out films. But then at a point, Nollywood got to a place where they wanted quality. And I believe if you're good enough, people will recognize. If people recognize the quality of the work that I brought into the industry.
And you didn't go to school to go and learn?
And I didn't go to school to learn it. It's innate. It's a God's gift. It's God's gift.
That's the greatness.
Yeah, that's God's grace. I walk by grace. I live by it actually. A lot of things that's happened in my life is by grace.
So all I can say now, because I can talk to you forever.
Yeah.
But I just want to say welcome to the 5th floor, girl.
Hey! Thank you. It's good to be here.